The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp.com.
Welcome to the Local Spin. I'm Lou Custodi. This is where we go into the minds of Western New York's most creative visionaries. And on today's show, we have an old friend, Mr. Pat Stack. Hello, Pat. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Lou, for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. And I could just imagine people tuning in to see who the next guest is. And they're going to see you sitting here, and they're probably going to say to themselves, what the hell is he doing on a podcast?
Why is Pat there?
Why are you here?
Because you called me, actually. That was pretty easy. You called me and said, would you consider doing it? And I'm like, yeah, but what are we going to do? And
I said, we'll talk about something. We've known each other for a long time.
yes, we have.
Well, it goes back when we were talking about it right before we started taping here today, that you and I grew up essentially in the same neighborhood, right down in Niagara Falls.
Downtown.
You were like off of 18th, right?
I was 18th. I was closer to actually 22nd in Cleveland.
Okay. And I was not too far from you on 22nd at Woodlawn.
Right.
And so, you know, we do share that. And I don't remember, did you go to North or did you go to Gaskell?
I went everywhere.
Yeah. Did you stay in any of the schools that you went to, or did you just walk in and walk out?
We're going to start with this, huh?
Well, because I know that you went to Niagara Falls High School, but I don't remember you being in Niagara Falls High School with me.
Right. Here we go. Very encapsulated.
I got to go right there, right at the
encapsulated version. I started off at Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Sacred Heart School on South and 11th. Did my 8 years there.
Did your 8 years is almost like it was a prison sentence or
Same
something?
thing. Went to Niagara
Hey,
Catholic.
listen, I went to St. Joseph. I did my time there too.
Well, there you go. Did you go all the way to 8th grade?
No. I bottomed out after 6th grade and went over to Gaskell.
Well, I bottomed out at Niagara Catholic after 10 years. 10th grade.
Okay.
During 10th grade, let's not say, let's get it right. And I have friends who will call me out on this. And I decided I would switch to high school.
Okay.
And that's not where I started. I decided I would go to Trot, and when I was at Trot, I watched a teacher get hit my first or second day, and then I decided that I had some friends in LaSalle, so I went to LaSalle for another few days, and then Jimmy Morrow and a couple friends, Chuck Moriel and them, called me and said, what are you doing? Come here, and I started up in high school.
I think you're the only person I know that just went to every single school in the city.
I went to them all. I didn't get kicked out of them all.
No, you just left.
What happened was at Niagara Catholic, I left I had a car. I had a job at Slipco's. I was working in the meat department, so it was really nice. And I would leave school a little early, and because my last two periods were study halls, so I'd leave to get to work. And they caught me, and they said that I had to spend all my free time in the office. And I felt I was a little bit more advanced than that.
Sure.
So I decided that
you had a little disagreement. Okay.
After a couple suspensions, that's all. Nothing major.
But that's all old stuff.
Thank you.
But you did go to Niagara Falls High School.
I did go to Niagara Falls High School.
And you graduated from Niagara Falls.
I did graduate.
You did. I mean, it's not like you just left. You.
No, I went all the way through, graduated, cap and gown, the whole bit.
The whole bit, okay.
Moved to Las Vegas for a year.
Now, that was the thing, too. It's so funny you would say that. I remember vividly in 78 and 79, everybody that graduated either moved to Las Vegas or they went to Arizona. Everybody was going to Arizona and Las Vegas.
Everything was West Coast.
Everybody went.
Nobody went to Florida, and then a few years later, everybody went to Florida. I went to Vegas to get my fame and fortune, and when I got there, I found out you had to be 21 to work in anything that was worth any money in Las Vegas. So we stayed there about 8 months.
What did you do when you were out there? Work at the casinos?
No, I tried.
I don't know, that grin. What the hell did you do?
We took a month to get to Las Vegas, me and two good friends of mine.
Okay.
And when we got to Las Vegas, I was broke. I started working in an all black detail shop for a guy who was Mitch, who owned the largest limousine service in Las Vegas. And it was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
Really?
Yeah, 8 months there working. It was great. I mean, they took care of me. I had a big van. They would send it through the shop and had everything redone to it. You know, the guys who I worked with. It was
Sure.
definitely a cool experience.
How long were you in Vegas?
Only like 8 months.
8 months.
Then I clapped my feet together and said, "There's no place like home."
You came back home.
Yeah, it was time.
After 8 months, you gave it a real good shot. I mean, 8 months.
We gave it a good
almost
shot.
as long as you going to Niagara Catholic or Trot or wherever it was.
It's longer than most schools, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, longer than most
So you come
schools.
back home.
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
I was 20.
Now you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
You get back home.
I decided that I started working in a couple stores, and I was bartending and everything, but I was working at a couple stores as a manager, and I decided that I would go to college.
Okay.
And my father said to me, and I walked up to my father. My father's a lawyer. He was great to me all through my suspensions and everything else. My father said to me, "Oh, where do you want to go to school?" And I said, "I'm going to go to Niagara University." And he said, "Okay." And he goes, "You're going to pay for it?" And I says, "Yeah, Dad, I'm not asking for money. I'm going to do it." And I went to Niagara, and I graduated Niagara with a 3.7 and accepted the UB Law School and decided that I was going to be a cop.
Yeah. All right.
So I really didn't
Switched your
decide it.
curriculum and
Different things happened. I owned a bar called Cheers on North Avenue Extension during college, the old Delmar.
Wait, you owned the bar when you were in college?
Oh yeah, I was part owner of Cheers, and then I went and worked for John at John's Flaming Hearth.
Yeah.
Only at Schraff's for John Cusp.
Okay.
And I was their head bartender at this little bar there in the hotel. And then Mario brought me over to the Hilton, where I worked the Hilton for years.
Always food and beverage.
Huh?
Always food and beverage stuff, right?
Yeah, and then I opened Club Miami.
How did you do this till you're 22 years old? How are you opening up these businesses?
Actually, the DeCara brothers came to me. God rest David Soul, because he was a good friend. And him and his brother had money, and they wanted to open up. They knew that that's what I did.
Yeah.
So we got together and we opened up. My wife actually named Club Miami, and we opened up Club Miami. It's supposed to be a lot different than it was. The second floor was supposed to be all sand and hot lights to imitate Miami, especially during the winter months. And the back room was going to be a cigar lounge. And that's an old warehouse, and it was 2 floors. Everything was going to be on the second floor. And that lasted probably a little less than my tenure at Las Vegas.
Right.
And the Hilton made me an offer I couldn't refuse, so I went back and worked there.
Yeah, I remember a couple of the places you said it. Well, everybody remembers John's Flaming Hearth.
Right.
And that was one of my favorite places to play. I love that lounge. I loved everything about the lounge. I liked the little tables. I liked the little chairs. I just liked it. I
We
loved
had
the way
Frank
it looked.
Scarfone.
Yeah.
Frank Scarfone would come and do a one-piece and play keyboards
Yeah?
and guitar and sing. And he would play once or twice a week. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It really was. Frank was.
Where was this at?
That was at John's Flaming Hearth.
On Military, okay.
No, the one at Schraff's.
Oh, Schraps. Okay, so so I was saying about the military with the the red.
Beautiful lounge.
Yeah, I love that. And then I also remember I never played the lounge at Schraps, but I played upstairs in the ballroom.
Beautiful.
Do you remember all the weddings up there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I played so many weddings up there, and you had to go down underneath, and that real tight area there. And
The back elevators that would never work. Yeah.
They wouldn't work, and then you'd look and you close and you'd cross your fingers and hope that you got up to the top, and it would go slower than slow.
Well, did you play Captain Jack's?
Yes.
See, I was at Captain Jack's. Then when they turned it into Daisy's, I was there for that.
Yeah.
When they did the remodel and everything, which was just a weird thing. And
I used to like Palm Court.
Palm Court was beautiful.
I liked Palm Court.
Palm Court was beautiful.
Yeah, and
The
I remember.
hairdressers convention and all that was just.
I'll tell you something that you'll appreciate. So, a lot of times when you're a sideman on a gig, and back in those days, I wasn't leading my own band so much, and I would sub with Jerry D'Amico, and he'd call me, and we'd go to play different places. I was playing with Brimstone.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we are at Palm Court. And the horn players didn't have any parts in this one tune. It was Boz Scaggs.
Lido Shuffle?
Not Lido. Oh, jeez, what's the name? It'll come to me. Anyway, It was the first hit off of that album. Lowdown. So this is true. So we didn't have any horn parts in it. And now, normally when you don't have a horn part, you walk off, then you go get a drink, you sit down, you're not paying attention. But for some reason, I always took that as an opportunity to study what was going on. So all the other guys in the horn section take off, and I'm just sitting there in the bandstand. I'm watching Jerry D'Amico, right? Now, we had played probably, I'm going to say, we played 10 minutes. Nobody even acknowledged the band. It was like we weren't there. And you remember Palm Court was very busy. They had that dance floor and everything.
And Jerry D'Amico's, that was a very demanding band.
It was. I used to love playing in that band. And so anyway, he says, okay, we're going to do Lowdown, right? So the guys walk off, and I'm just watching him because I used to watch. I wanted to know what he did as a leader because I thought he was one of the best leaders we ever had in Western New York for running a band. So I watched it. All of a sudden, people started coming up to the band. Now, the song's over. It's, what is it, 3-minute song? And the dance floor is full. So I remember the guys in the band, they looked over to Jerry. Jerry just looks up, he sees the band is playing, and the band dance floor is all full. He goes like this, just like this. He goes. So they go back up to the top. I said, oh, wow, it's pretty cool. He's going to play this song again. So I'm just standing there, I'm watching. More people are coming up. Okay, extended bass solo. Gets to the end of the song. The guys look at him, right? Jerry goes like this. Again. I said, what's he going to play this song 3 times? I swear to you, he played Lowdown. I'm not kidding. He played it for about 15 minutes.
So who was your singer at the time?
That was when he had...
was Carm there?
Was it Carmy or was it... Mickey Dumas was one of the singers. I don't remember the other guy, and it was Carmy and... what was her name? I don't know. I can't remember. Right. It might come to you by the time
I know Carms used to sing with him quite a bit.
Yeah.
Carm Murphy now. But Jerry was actually my uncle.
I didn't know Jerry was your uncle.
I'm from that D'Amico side. My mother was a D'Amico.
That's why you think you're Italian.
I am. I'm more Italian than I'm anything else.
You're Irish.
And for the record, here we go. Yeah. My mother was full Italian off the boat. My father was Irish and Polish. Mm-hmm. When my mother passed, there's a little bit of a rift. So I became Irish and Polish.
Well,
but I used to wear a horn.
Yeah, well, every time you cook something Italian, Maria looks at me and says, what the hell does he know about Italian food? He's not Italian.
Maria, that's for you, because that's my mother. She looked a lot like you, too, by the way.
So Jerry was your uncle?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
No, that's a different D'Amico family than the one in LaSalle.
Okay.
They're not connected at all. My grandfather was a railroad worker. He was Sabella, Grandinettes. My mother's mother was a Caterina. Okay. Which were Sabella and Grandinettes, basically all mixed together.
So you got that pedigree. This is why we do get along, see, because there is a little bit of Italian in your
People don't realize I'm more Italian. When we did that stupid, whatever, 20andMe or 22andYou.
Oh yeah. Whatever
the hell it's called. My wife, who fully Italian supposedly, came back a mix of everything. I came back exactly what I knew I was going to come back, and nobody associates. After my mother died, my father started getting, he married a Polish woman who was wonderful. She's still alive, Barb. And he was married to her for 30 years, married to my mother for 30 years. But my mother was full-blown, yeah.
See, now
she couldn't cook, though. My mother was a horrible cook.
So now we're going back to Maria saying, what the hell does he know about cooking Italian? Yeah. She was, how could you have an Italian mother that couldn't cook?
Yeah, I had an Italian step-grandmother. Because like my mother and her mother before her, they passed really young. So my grandfather remarried. And my Nellie, Fiore, was a great cook. But my salad dressings, all that stuff come from her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
you do a fine job. All kidding aside. You really do a fine job. All right, so let's get back to where you decide to go to school for criminal justice. Right. You switch your major, come out of school, bang, you go to Niagara Falls and get hired just like that.
All right, here's a story on that.
Why is there always a smirk?
Because nothing is really that simple in my life. We went to buy a car, Kathy and I went to buy a car, a beautiful RX-7 turbo Mazda, brand new. And I walked into the place, and I was bartending and for the Hilton and everything else, and which, by the way, is my dream job.
To bartend.
Yeah.
Well, then you have your dream job because when I come to see you, you're bartending.
Yeah. So what happens is we go to buy a car, and the guy gives me a hard time about having no credit.
Yeah.
So I had cash. So I pulled the cash out to buy the car, and the guy's like, "Oh, we can make this work." I said, "We can never make this work." So I put the money back in my pocket, called up the Falls, and told them that I was on their list. I was number 6, and they said, "You should have been hired already." And they brought me down and put me through a lot of mental, obviously psychological exams.
And you passed those exams?
Really? Well, I don't know how.
The first time, or did you pay somebody to?
The third time back, I had to be at work. I had to be at work at 5:00 on a Friday, and the doctor came, scheduled me for 3:00. Knew I had to be at 5. Made me sit in the lobby till 5:00, and literally just waited. And so I called up work. I said, "I'm going to be late. It's my job anyway. I'm going to be late." They said, "No problem." Mm-hmm. So 5:30 calls me into his office and asks me why I'm not upset and why I'm not. And I said, "Because I figured this is what you're going to do. You're looking to break me. I already called work. I went and had a sandwich at went and ate at Wendy's, I think was there, because I knew he was going to make me wait. So during waiting, I went and had a sandwich so I wouldn't be hungry and aggravated. Hangry, actually, because I get that way. And he looked at me and he says, "You have a smirk." Sorry, I guess it's an interview thing. And he said, "What's going on?" And I told him, I said, "I knew you were going to do that." I go, "Let me ask you a question. Are you going to pass me?" And he goes, "Well, it depends." I said, "Well, here you go then. I knew that you were just doing this to make me upset. You're not going to make me upset. I could care. My job's there. They're not going to get rid of me. And I do a great job, and I'll do a great job for the police department." And he goes, "All right, I'm going to pass you." So he did. Then I went to the academy, got out, worked in porn. Very nice.
What did you say?
I worked in porn.
You weren't an actor, were you?
When I first got out, no. When I first, I couldn't have been.
I don't know what the hell else you're going to tell me here today. This is quite the interesting interview.
When I got out of the academy, me and another girl from the academy went to a unit called CIU, which became NID, Criminal Intelligence Unit, right out of the academy because they didn't know us. And they sent me, they put me in this unit, and it was to buy porn, and it was to buy streetwalkers and help with streetwalkers, and we would go into porn shops and crazy stuff like that. Doing that, I met a bunch of guys from the Niagara County Drug Task Force. They were, undercover guys. And
so right out of the block, you started like undercover work.
Yeah.
You never walked the beat or anything like that. You went.
I went 1 month on afternoons, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I went 2 months in traffic as their accident investigator, and then they brought me up to Niagara County Drug Task Force. Wow. Which was a gigantic deal. Working for Jimmy Hall, Craig Harmon, my partner was Tony Evans. Probably one of the best units. It was the first narcotics unit in the whole country.
I did not know that.
Yeah, very first multi-unit department in the whole country. That was task force, and it's right when you got to see stuff. So
what do you mean?
We started. They did a seizure thing because cocaine was so big and crack. They started to seize, and we were seizing everything: cars, motorcycles, boats.
And this was all Niagara County. This is our backyard here where we live, and we don't see a lot of that. I
didn't do any work in Niagara Falls. My work was in Lockport. I'm sorry, so twice. It's my Italian that's coming out of my hands. Did a lot of work in Lockport. Bought a lot of dope in North Tonawanda.
That seems to be
bigger buys. A
little bit dangerous, though. I mean, it's dangerous. You got to admit it.
It was exactly like the movies.
It really is.
Exactly like the movies. Crazy fun.
You're not going to believe it, but I don't know anything about that life.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
My life has been a little bit more provincial than maybe yours is. I can't even imagine it. I would be shaking.
It was exactly the same.
It's the same.
Exactly. It's like TV. Early TV. I mean, like nobody was dirty. There wasn't, there wasn't that room.
Okay.
You always looked over your shoulder. You knew that you had a great job. You knew that if different guys went down before us, and that they were shamed for life, and it was no need to. I mean, we were spending money. We were all friends, and we were doing raids. I swang the Ram for 12 years, opening doors. Jimmy Galley as my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had fun. It was just fun every day.
Dangerous fun, but yet fun.
Every day.
Wow. That's incredible. I did not know all that. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's take a little bit of a break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back and we'll pick up right where we left off, and we'll hear from our
wonderful.
sponsor, Make Wellness, all natural peptides, the rage right now.
Imagine you could target stubborn visceral fat and lose weight, increase your energy, lower cortisol levels and decrease inflammation, fall asleep and stay asleep, build lean muscle, power through your to-do list, say goodbye to brain fog, and decrease stress and anxiety. You owe it to yourself to at least get more information. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back to the Local Spin. Pat Stack with me today. A very, very interesting conversation, and I had no idea of the extent of which you're telling me you were involved in. I would refer to it the underbelly of Western New York, right? The drug task force. You're out there, you're doing raids, you're doing seizures, and this went on for how long?
17 years.
17 years. And now, did you retire from that position?
5 years. 5 years as actually undercover. Making buys and stuff, and then off and on through the 17, mostly as a handler for a lot of people, and then I got on the team, the SWAT team, and we did raids and I opened doors. I was a Ram for that SWAT team. Worked under some really good people, Deegan and Dave, Dave Legault, amazing people I worked with, and they put up with my antics, so we made it.
And then you retired from that role. Yes?
One day I decided that it was time to go and let a young kid have it.
Okay.
So I went to, at the time, John Cella was one of my partners, so was Ernie Palmer at one time.
Ernie, yeah.
And Ernie had just given up the chiefdom, gave it to Cella, and Ernie took over homicide, detective bureau. And I decided that that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to work with Ernie a little bit. He's a good friend, great musician. And so I went to Ernie. I says, Johnny Olander's position just opened up. I know you guys are going to put it out there. I want it. And he goes, absolutely, I'd love to have you, which was surprising. And I went to Cella, told John, and a month went by. And I looked at Ernie. I said, what's going on? He said, I don't know. So Ernie went into Cella's office and said, Pat put in for this position. What's going on? He goes, he was serious? I thought he was joking. Pat should stay on drugs. Pat did not stay on drugs. Pat switched over to homicide and had a ball there. That was work that everything had to be documented. I had Patty McCune, who just won a gigantic award. Shout out to her. She won Law Officer of the Year this year. And Patty ran. When I got put into the unit, we worked together, and I don't know. She thought she was in charge. And
she's going to see this.
That's why I'm doing it. And we laughed, and they decided they'd separate us, and they put me with another team, which was great. And we were the B team, and she had the A team, and we solved a lot of cases. We had a lot
Patty's
of fun.
wonderful.
Patty's spectacular.
She grew up right down the street from me.
Chris is her husband, is another sweetheart, and the kids are amazing. The great kids, both good.
It's so funny because the life that you had in the exact same city that I grew up in is so different. It really is. Growing up not being a part of that at all, you don't realize that it's there, but it is there.
It is,
and we need folks like you to do that job.
And I was lucky because I grew up on 18th and Cleveland, that block, the 1800 block Cleveland. But I grew up with some very great people. I mean, they were all the guys in my neighborhood were at least 4 years older than me, and they took care of me, and I saw I should never have seen, and but it grew. I mean, they were. I was always protected by them. It was always wonderful, and so a shout out to them too, because my old neighborhood was great.
Well,
And
I have
we moved
to ask.
DeVoe.
Yeah, well, I have to ask you one other question though. So you're undercover. You're doing all of this work, and it is dangerous work. Let's make no mistake about that. I mean, how do you then go home and decompress from that, and then go out in the public? Is it? I mean, something
All right.
that continues to be dangerous, or were you like? Were you like Clouseau, dressing up in disguises or something?
They moved me. No, in my last 10 years, narcotics. We were forefront. I mean, we were out there. People knew who we were. People knew what we were doing.
Okay.
I had to move. I had a hit on me from Rochester. A Jamaican gang out of Rochester put a hit on my family.
They put a hit on you and your family?
We lived on Patricia Drive in DeVoe. Beautiful house.
Sure.
Our first house. And I was working, and I got a phone call. I didn't. The sheriff's department got a phone call. Do you have an investigator by the name of Stack? And they said, no, we got a captain. My uncle was a captain there. And they said, no, this guy does drugs. And he said, oh, yeah, Pat, he's with our task force. And they said, well, we were just in Rochester when they purchased a gun to kill him.
Oh, my God.
And they're going to kill him. You guys drive a 5-liter Mustang? And we had a 5-liter Mustang. They would either kill me on Highland Avenue or at home with my family. And they did that back then. It was they would go into houses and especially the gangs out of Rochester. And so
Well, how did you
They had to move me.
avert that?
we moved.
Where'd you go? Like
We
different city?
we moved to we were told we had to move. We kept our house for a while, and we had they knew where I lived. They talked about where I lived when they were buying the gun, and they were making the arrangements for the hit. And the kids lived on the first floor, and we lived on the second floor. It was a cape. So they moved me out of the house and gave me a really nice shotgun with scatter in it. Ray Deegan was amazing. Taught me how to shoot it and taught me how to, home defense. And then they moved me to, I moved out of the city.
Wow.
And you weren't allowed to live out of the city. And they got an approval to move out of the
I
city.
could understand them getting that approval.
Well, it never was in writing because it was an election year. Make a long story short, I moved out of the city. Then we finally found the house that we're in now. Anyway, as my career went on, and that really wasn't. That was a third hit that I had. That was the first major one, but I've had guns pointed at me and at my head and stuff like that during buys and stuff. That's all part of the game.
I don't consider that a game at all.
Well, and I hate to say it, like in Murphy's parking lot in North Tonawanda, they had a scoped out rifle, and I was buying a pound of coke, and it's always the same thing. One kid I was buying from brought me to my old neighborhood, literally to the 1800 block of Cleveland Avenue, in my work car. He climbed into his house to get something. He had to climb a porch. And as people are walking by the car, they're stopping and going, "Hey Pat, how you doing? Hey Pat, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, the kid comes back. He goes, "What the hell's all this?" And I said, "I don't really think I'm some guy named Pat. You gotta get me the hell out of here." Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, it's time to leave. And so we left. And same kid. We ended up. I was buying a pound of coke from him, which I knew was going to be fake. They had an idea I was an informant. So they had if the cops come, we're going to kill you and this and that type thing. And I had a beautiful Eldorado, Barrett's at the time, work car. And I told him, I said, "You got a guy over here in the woods with the gun pointing it at my head. It's a long gun with the scope on it. And you're sitting here with the gun. You're sitting in the car next to me with the gun. What do you think this dope is? You think this is going to be real? I know this is not real. You're robbing me. Just say you're robbing me. Don't tell me you're selling me dope because you're not selling me dope." Huh. And they're like, "No, give us your money and take it." And I'm like, "Well, it's not real. Why would I take it?" So I was telling everybody where everybody was, and we ended up getting everybody. So it was all just
Wow. All in a day's work for
Fun.
you?
fun.
Yeah, I don't know whether I would consider that fun, but I do have to ask you, and hopefully you say, no, that's all behind you now. Do you ever worry that somebody's going to, 20 years later come back and say, oh, that was this
If you
SOB?
come to the bar, you never know who you're sitting next to. I have guys that I've bought from, guys that I've arrested,
They don't know
guys
it's you?
that I've worked with. Oh, they all know. We're all friends. We're all friends.
Your own friends. Guys you arrested?
Your
friends.
I was lucky when I retired. I didn't want a retirement party. 25 years. I just wanted to go.
Okay.
And I was young. I was 49, 50. And when I retired, I just wanted to go. And a couple guys from the street came to me and said, "We've been talking. We want to throw you a party." And I says, "You guys are going to throw me a party." And these guys I put away, actually. Funny, 3 of them. And we're talking.
You're telling me people you arrested?
Well, and this is what they said to me, which is probably one of the most beautiful things that, and then we'll get off the whole cop gig thing. They said to me, "You never put anything on us. You never lied to us. You always told us." My motto through all of it was, I don't go to work looking to catch you. I go to work. It's a job. Your job is not to get caught. You get away with it 364 days a year. I get lucky one day and I'm the villain.
Mm-hmm.
I says, you made a mistake today. You got caught. You shouldn't have had that much dope on you. You shouldn't have had any dope on you. You shouldn't have been selling to where I can see you, or you shouldn't have been selling to somebody I know.
So it's on you. It's not on me.
It's not on me.
You do your job. I do my job. Today I got you.
And it's nothing personal. I never went home ever saying, I really want to get this guy. I know some people do that. That wasn't my way. It was even guys who I had bad dealings with.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm going to target them. There was plenty of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing about the task force when we started was you could call off friends. Like if I knew friends were doing something and they come in in the crosshairs,
Yeah.
I could say, I know them, and then I would never hear another thing about the case.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it just saved us, kept us up from feeling guilty, and it made, you know what I mean? It was the right thing. Do your investigation and you'll catch them. You know what I mean? You don't need me to blow in my friend because, or I didn't know he was doing it. I didn't know. It's basically that easy. And it worked good for my career there.
This is truly something I wasn't expecting to talk about in such detail, but I'm so glad that we did because I had no idea, and I truly find it fascinating.
You just thought I was just a great Irish singer out of Brooklyn.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I do now. That's the funny part of it because you did kind of lead on to this when we took our break, because all of a sudden. You're not working as in law enforcement anymore. You're not in the drug task force. You're not a cop. All of a sudden, now you're out singing with bands. I'm like, what the hell is this? Right. But there was a reason for that I didn't know that you had been playing music basically your whole life.
Right.
So.
Right. We had little garage bands, obviously, growing up. And my father was an accordion player who thought he was a lawyer. And so there was always that in my life, and there was always music, and there were always friends who played, Steve Dillon, Steve Palmieri used to play drums, and we had a lot of friends who were great musicians. And when I became a cop, I couldn't pursue any of that. I couldn't go out on stage. You're standing there and, you're standing there with the band in your Pat Stack, and then somebody saying, "No, that's Chris. I just sold him coke in North Carolina," and there's a lot of things that you give up for that life. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I loved my true passion was bartending and serving, and people don't understand that. And I loved the waiting end of it and the serving end of it. And when I retired, my wife said, I married a bartender. I had a really rough time retiring and I had a really rough time.
I can understand that. Because
And
you
I
were
was-
always busy, you were always doing something.
I was
you had
too
a
young.
life of significance, and here you are, 49 years old, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're turning your back on your career.
Yeah, and couldn't really get back into what I like doing. I mean, nobody's going to hire a bartender that was an narc.
Mm.
Nobody's going to do a lot of good bars, but a lot of guys were saying, no, we don't understand your history. We understand you own bars. You did this. You were a head bartender here. You were, you made real drinks. And, but you were a narc for like 17, 18 years. So, I mean, and so my wife said to me, you own bars. And I said, it was the worst time of my life. When you own a bar, you're married to it. There's no free time. Everything is trying to make it. You work 90 to 100 hours a week. And she goes, you really don't need to do that. You can just open up a bar, have fun, place for your friends to go, because I don't want them at my house all the time. She didn't say that, but I knew that's what she was thinking. And we found somewhere, and somewhere fit everything I wanted it to fit.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's take our final break. We'll hear again from our sponsor, Make Wellness. All natural peptides. If you don't know what they are, please give it a listen. And we'll be back, and we'll finish this thing up.
Okay.
Imagine you could target stubborn visceral fat and lose weight, increase your energy, lower cortisol levels and decrease inflammation, fall asleep and stay asleep, build lean muscle, power through your to-do list, say goodbye to brain fog, and decrease stress and anxiety. You owe it to yourself to at least get more information. Scan the QR code now.
Back, Pat Stack, Local Spin.
Hello, Lou.
Discussions with Western New York's most innovative and creative folks, and this has been very, very enlightening. So let's turn the page here and let's get into what I thought we were going to actually discuss more, and that is your lifelong love of music and getting out there. I know there's Pat and the Stackers, there's the Irish Band. I mean,
There was the Castaways for a little while.
the Castaways. That's right.
That was
So,
fun.
are you leading all these bands? Are you calling up your guys and saying, hey, I want to do this, and then the guys come? Or guys saying, hey, we need a front man, let's call Pat. How exactly is this working?
I'll tell you how it works. I have a very crazy friend. His name's Steve Dillon.
Yes.
Stork, Steve Dillon.
We all know Steve.
Been a friend of mine.
Great
for
guy.
Heavy into the music scene, always was. For some reason, he loves putting me into those positions. And he does.
And he does. He keeps calling you saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Well, as good as a musician as he is, he will be the first to tell you that he is not a front man, nor does he want to be a front man.
And he's found it. He knows one of his best friends is always willing to jump through a hoop. And so and he's got so many talented people around him. The Irish Wake Band we put together 14 years ago.
And that's still going, though, isn't it?
Still going.
So who's in that band now? Because I know Steve is in Nashville.
We've had some great musicians, but the core members have always been Ray Berry, Joey Brennan, John Pauley, incredible monster on the fiddle and violin or whatever, Dave Stainer.
Those are some pretty good names that you're mentioning.
Charlie Latempio.
They're really, really good.
Charlie
great
Latempio.
players.
And we've Tony Petricello and Joey Zarillo take turns on the bass. Evan Kiefer was our bagpiper who moved. He was a bagpiper. Wilson, he was phenomenal. And it started off that I got a call from Hard Rock Cafe saying that they wanted me to put together a band to do St. Patrick's Day at Hard Rock.
Yeah, because everybody thinks you're Irish and no Italian.
Right. And nobody asked me to do Frank Sinatra anymore.
They're not going to ask you to do a St. Joseph's Day.
I could do the table.
Yeah.
I could do the table.
You could sit down at the table and eat it.
No, I could cook that table.
You could cook the table?
I could cook that table.
All right.
Fish, the whole bit, I could do
The
it.
bread, the fish, the whole thing.
Oh, I make bread. That's the key. But we put together this band and practiced a lot, and they are just so talented.
And there's a different repertoire for what people are listening to today for Irish music and what we grew up knowing as Irish music.
Right.
That's a different gig altogether. Right. I got to tell you.
So the beauty of it was I grew up on the traditionals.
So you know it.
Right. I mean, all the way. And to us, non-traditional was something like the Unicorn. The Unicorn wasn't traditional Irish. Unicorn was an Irish rock song that the Irish Rovers put out to make money. I mean, so I grew up on the actual old fight songs and that.
Harrigan and Who
Yeah, Harrigan and
Mrs.
Wake,
Murphy's Chowder and all that stuff. Yeah,
all of the great ones. And so when we started to put this band together, and our show is always the same. We start off with the traditional. I do some explanations about what they are. And then the second half goes into Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Mollies, Rum Jacks, deep Blue Sea. I mean, just rocking. And we used to do AC/DC with Long Way to the Top. And Evan was an amazing. Evan and Ray Berry would go back and forth with those solos from that. And it was just a great experience.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, if you do good music and you do it well, you have a lot of fun.
So we started getting a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
It started off really well.
And it's still playing today, right? I mean,
we started off getting a lot of gigs, and the problem was I was the only one retired, and everybody else was working. So it was hard to get 8, 9 people together for a gig.
It's hard to get paid for 8 or 9 people on a gig.
Yeah, well, me and Stark really didn't take money for a lot of years. And still occasionally don't. It's all part of it.
And then that's an underwritten law almost that most people don't realize, that in the music industry, to get your band off the floor and get it out there, there's a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of times it's the guys who put it together that make less than the guys that come and play.
The guys who come and play have different bands, different gigs, and we were blessed that they were all big names and big players. I mean, and I would laugh because even with the Castaways, we had Mark Paracelli, me, and Mark's nuts, and we had and Charlie Latempio and Joey Brennan was our drummer, and we'd fill in different pieces for different guys who were off. But it would be funny because we'd go places and play, and people would say, "How long have you guys been together? You're really tight." And it's like Nashville. Those guys never played together and they're so tight. It's just that they're so professional and so good.
It's the proficiency of which they perform. That's what it is. They're all professionals. And like Joey Brennan, if you give him 3 songs to learn, he's going to learn those songs, and they're never going to be wrong. Never.
If you ever come to our show, and we have a couple coming up, actually.
Well, you let me know. Now I almost feel obligated.
I can go. I get up and I'll play and I'll sing. I play guitar, for the record, and I'm not very good, so they don't let me play in any bands. But and that was the first Ernie Palmer, because I played with my father and Ernie. Ernie just would turn off the
amp.
The amp, yeah.
Yeah.
And but Ernie was a big part of me starting to play again, and so if you ever come, I'll turn around during certain songs, because some of it's 3 minutes. In between, just craziness, and I'll turn around and I'll look at Joey Brennan, and he'll go.
In other words, now's when you come in. There you go.
Now's you come in, and I'll tell you.
It's like, when is it my turn yet? No.
And staying there. If I miss something, Dave will jump right in and he'll start singing it, and I'll catch where we're at, and I'll finish singing it, and that's how it was with my dad, and Dave just laughs and we get along, and it's beautiful. And Dave's got a great voice, so it's sometimes I won't even join back in.
I'm not going to say it. That was a slow hanging curve. I'm not going to.
Yeah,
hit that
I put
one.
it out there for you.
Yeah, I'll let that one go. But I'll tell you what, though, the times that I have seen you perform, and I think that what most people pick up on is your very, very ease of being in front of a group and having fun, genuinely having fun. It doesn't look like you're ever putting on airs. It looks like you're just having fun. It's almost like, why the hell am I up here? What the hell am I doing? But you're having a good time doing it, and that is transferable to the audience, and it takes the performance from a level here of everybody being on edge. The guy is behind you. It takes it from here. Oh my God, are we going to hit this right? Is this right? This key change, I don't know if I'm ready for it, whatever it is. It takes it from here, where everybody's a little jittery, all the way down to here, and then all of that disappears, and now you're not worried about execution in terms of the music and what you're doing and how you're going to do it. You're just playing, and the music is the music.
That's a huge compliment from you.
Well,
because I've seen you play since we were kids, and I know when I listen. Some of my favorite times are watching your videos where you do the, you'll wake up and you'll play your trumpet for 4th of July and everything, and those are to me like great moments. And
I
would never forget. I always say this. This is my line as far as my performances go. I'm Sammy Davis Jr. I'm not Frank Sinatra. I'm not Dean Martin. I go out there and I entertain. I'm not the best. I'm not, by far, not the best singer, but I am very entertaining because I guess I'm not smart enough to be worried about it.
No, and I think you're selling yourself a bit short there, because
great fun.
Yeah, because what you're doing, again, it's transferable, and that's what people want when it's all over and done with. I'll give you a real quick example. I've been on bandstands before where there have been cutting sessions. Are you familiar with that cutting session?
Yeah.
It goes back to the early days in jazz where one guy would pick up his horn and he'd try to play better than the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and whoever was left standing at the end of it was considered over here, right? As if winning were something. And it doesn't always have to be that way. And I've been in situations like that where you finally get to the point, and early on when I was playing, maybe it was like that in a certain segment of what I was doing. But after a while, you just get to the point where you say, listen, this isn't supposed to be a competition. This isn't supposed to be who could play the fastest or who could play the loudest or who could do this or who could do that. It's supposed to be about the music. That's what's important here. It's about having that 2 or 3 or 4 minutes where the most important thing is the music, and it's the execution of the music, not a competition, and it's so that everybody could share in it.
Right. It's, for me, I love looking out and seeing people sing or dance and having fun.
You do.
The grandchildren. I mean, to me, that is. We did a Bob Marley tune with the Castaways, and I had a Rastafarian wig and a beard and all that stuff. And I walked in the back behind the stage when they were doing something to the band, and they didn't know I was doing it. And I put on a pair of shorts, my crazy shorts, and the outfit, and they started a song, and I came walking out, and people were going as I'm singing it. People are looking at me, and the guys in the band are like, "Really, are you doing this now? This is like, And me personally, I love coming off stage. I like walking around the crowd, Dave singing. I love backing him up at different things, saying hi to people and talking to it. I love that. And even singing out there, I like listening to the band because I like watching the band too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that much enjoyment of it. And one of the people said to me, "We didn't know that was you coming out from behind there." They said, we were like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" You know? And where's Pat? And I took the wig. It's one of those, probably a before pre-Temu wig, with a beard. And I only bought it for the winter because it was a cold mask. And but I think it's more about. We have great musicians.
There are a lot of great musicians here in Western New York.
And you know what? They're generous people.
Most of them are really good people.
And this is the first time that I've seen in this area. There's a lot of backing for them too. Right now, the bars aren't making a lot of money with bands. However, there are some really generous individuals who are coming up and making it work for a lot of people. And making some of this. It's hard for us. I mean, Kristen's doing a great job. Foley's doing a great job. Wilbur's, with how small it is, shoving a 1 or 2 piece band up there all the time. We did it for years on Sundays. Now the Jug's doing it. So is the brewery. the Griffin Brewery, and the Griffin's always been great hosts to bands. Um, the bars here don't make what the bars in Buffalo make.
Mhm.
However, our talent for bands is as equal as anywhere I've ever been in the country. And
I'm thrilled to hear you say that.
and you know what? It's the problem is now there's some backers and there's some people who come to mind, and they're friends of music.
Mhm.
I guess would be the best. I can think of a few of them, and uh, they always seem to. They're always supportive. They always show up. They always come. They're always there. Every band.
And there's a genuine interest. Going back to one of your statements just a few seconds ago, saying that it was always, we always had good support for it. Well, when you look back, when we came up, we missed the heyday. There was a heyday in Niagara Falls that we never saw. And it was the 40s, obviously, the 50s, and the early part of the 60s. We weren't even around back then. People used to come up to me and say, Lewis, you were just born way too late. Says if you were born like 20 years ago, you would have owned this city, right?
How many years was whatchamacallit on? I had them play at our bar because they've just been around forever, and they still continue to play. And Tony Picari, I mean, there are guys who just are still just so talented and still playing. The brothers. You got the Grisanis and the
Mhm.
and Frank and Cat, Big Cat, Rick Catniece. I mean, they are always have been, and there wasn't that many venues.
No, there wasn't, because like I was saying, in the 70s, a lot of that stuff went away. Then you get to the 80s, there was nothing. The 90s, forget it. You turn the corner, and all of a sudden you're into the 2000s, and it's like a barren wasteland.
Right.
So you are still owning a restaurant/bar somewhere.
Right.
Did you name that? Or did,
Yeah, I did.
it sounds like something that you did. So what are we going to call it? I don't know, somewhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's somewhere. It's
we
not
were
nowhere.
looking for an Irish. We were looking for an Irish pub, and pub means public house.
Yeah.
And they have to be in a city village, or they need to be surrounded by other places.
And that's
we're just
nowhere.
We're a roadhouse somewhere in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere. It's just
It is actually a roadhouse, now that you say that.
it is a roadhouse, and it thinks it's a pub, but I actually be
I,
honest with you.
someone said, well, how did he name it? I said, I don't know. He probably said everybody has to be somewhere, and he probably came up with it. Just say it's called somewhere. This way everybody has to be there.
So I have a place in Turks and Caicos that's pretty well known. We've been traveling there for years, and there is a bar there called Somewhere,
Oh, okay.
and it's Somewhere Cafe, and they were just starting, and we were friends with the owner. Kathy and I, met the owners and the management people, and I, being my love of bars back then, this 20 years ago, put together a package for them of what I thought how they should produce it and push it. And so I had that all.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, this is sort of the same thing. It's nowhere. And Kathy and her friends basically said, you just call it Somewhere. You have all this,
If you build it, people will come.
And we're lucky.
So let's get your perspective on being a bar owner, and because you do hire musicians, you do hire bands. Let's take it to the other side now. Now you're not the one performing; you're the one who's cutting the check, and you're paying. You're the one who has to make sure that there's electric strung to the stage, and if it's at night, there has to be lighting, and so on and so forth. What's that like? That puts you on a different plane than everybody else.
The worst part about Somewhere is its size.
It's on a big parcel.
We
but
can't do anything inside
Yeah.
without blowing people out. I can have a one-man band maybe. I've really never done it. I'd love to try it. I know Jamie, you'd love to do it. I know that. We're going to. However, it's tough. I mean, it's 40 seats.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 35 seats, maximum 49 people.
And the way that it's set up, you walk in and it's like 3 steps. You're at that bar, and
You'll be
it's
blown
long.
away.
Yeah, it's tough.
You'll be blown away.
It is, but you do have music in the summertime.
We
out
put together
back.
a beautiful stage out back. It's
You
all
did.
wired and done for music, and it's great. But COVID hit, and with COVID, I mean, we have big parties. St. Patrick's Day obviously is our biggest one, which we did this year at the Griffin. But Ken and Ed were great to us, and they made me an offer that just saved my backyard from $2,000 worth of work that we had to do every year after people trampled it. And now we have the bike blessing coming up, which we do with that's the way we are. We do it with Mr. M's. We do it together as a collaborative. Johnny and Mike Martino, great people. We try to pick a band that comes into our place. This year we got Crossroads, great band. Mark Palmer leading it. All local guys, all a little older. Great rock and roll. Very cool. And we've done that. We've always tried to bring bands in from that we like that are local. And we've started. I've had 4 bands very first show at our place because of it. Like high school kids we had in one time. We had grade school kids come in and play one afternoon before bigger bands. And they were all, Orange Zest was one of them. They were called, at the time, they were called No Vacancy. And we brought them in the first time they ever played in front of people. I wanted them to be able to drive by when they became our age and go, that's where we did our first gig.
Yeah, and there's something else to be said for that, too. It's nice when you do something like that because it gives them a platform. They get out and in front of people, and they're actually performing in front of people outside of the school walls, which is completely different. That's a different vibe. But then the other thing, too, is they usually don't go home right away because they're with their parents. They stick around, then they hear the other band, and they say, wow, I want to do that, or I want to play that instrument.
So much fun to watch the kids.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, and Ray Barry has got a music
Sure.
shop right now, and he's been doing that. He's been bringing them to venues and doing his, like they used to have those things where what were they called?
A recital.
The recitals where you would go. Ray's bringing in talented musicians with them, singing and playing with
That's
them.
important.
And I feel like that's all.
That's one of the reasons why I think that the Niagara Falls Music Hall of Fame is so important, because it recognizes people that have been doing this for so long, and that's the next crop of musicians, right? These young kids, and they want to see these guys playing and performing.
And that's why they should always bring a band. Those kids, I know Chris McKenzie, huge supporter of all that. If you're listening, Chris, I know that you've given me bands of kids, so I know you're on this page. But for that thing, they should be playing. You should have a kids band playing at the Hall of Fame every year, a different kids band, so that the older guys get to see them, because it's as thrilling for them as it is for us to watch.
Sure it is. You love seeing that. You really do. What's it look like this coming year? You going to be doing it on a regular basis, or is it haphazard once a month? What do you do?
We got probably 5 big parties that we're going to do.
Okay.
And hire 5 bands.
Oh, nice.
But nothing like we did every week on Sundays.
So, and there's a reason for that. It's an economic decision most of the time, right? Because what people don't realize is if you hire a band and you put them outside, that band reserved that day for you. You just can't cancel them and not comp the band. You're too much of a businessman who knows what it's like, and you're putting yourself out there.
There's too much. That obviously the prices of bands have also gone up. We I did a post once, and somebody was talking about how bar owners make all this money, and the bands are getting you know who it is, right?
Yeah.
And I know you're a good friend, and I love your whatever, but it's not like that in all places. We're a $3 a beer place. We're not a we're a $3-4 beer place. We're not a $7-8.
Sell a lot of beers to cover that band.
Yeah, and you
that's
know what?
what
I
it
did
is.
it for like 2-3 years, maybe 4 years, to where I knew it was a donation.
Well, yeah.
Because the bar does well, so I was fine with that, and it was for our friends, because we had a lot of friends who loved going, and a lot of great bands we saw. It just it would be every Sunday that you're not home, because I can't hire a band and not be there. They're
That's
coming to
because
see
you're
me.
responsible.
They're coming to see me. They're friends. They've given me a good deal, whatever, and I want to see them.
Right.
And so it was a tough decision to make, not to do them every week. I hang out with a group of guys. This is probably one of the best things Somewhere did is when I started, I ride motorcycles. And on Sundays, I told a couple guys, listen, every Sunday at 11 o'clock, we'll meet at the bar and we'll go for a ride. And it turned into 30 guys. You know, most of them are divorced or whatever, and they all became friends, and we're all very close now, and we still ride. Now we switched to Saturdays because there's more bars and stuff happening on Saturdays. So we switched it to Saturdays where we meet at the bar, and it's all good people and friends, and that's who the music was for us, because the lowriders, just friends.
Yeah.
Some of them I arrested too. So works out
That still is mind-boggling, but I'm going to take your word for it. Listen, this has been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. I hope you enjoyed it coming in. I really did enjoy talking with you.
Dry mouth. I'm nervous. I'm still shaking.
Oh, stop it. You're not nervous at all. Listen, in closing, is there anything else you want to bring up? And
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Support your local bars.
There you go.
Support your local musicians. They are the things that keep us going. Enjoy when you see the older guys out there. Give encouragement to the kids. And if you're a musician, show up at some other people's gigs so they show up at yours. Believe me, it goes a long way. And Ari and Cohen, I love you guys. My grandsons. So that's about it.
Thank you, my friend. It
God
really
bless you.
was a pleasure. Thanks so much.
It's all mine.